Shalom, everybody. It's Deacon Dave with KJBU, and before we move into today's understanding, a uniform declaration of separation must be put forth. All teachers, elders, deacons, brothers, under the banner of the King James Bible University are in no way affiliated, linked in, or connected to any religious buildings, sects, philosophies, vain, impure, or defiled attempts by false prophets dressing up to appear, to look, act, walk, and sound godly, speaking expressly through doctrines of devils to enrich themselves through the fleecing of the scattered flock of the Most High, accepting love donations, tithes, prayer offerings, super chat donations, and any and all filthy gain, acquired through skillfully deceptive means to lavishly delight themselves upon the men, women, and children of the one shepherd of Israel, Jehovah, the Spirit of the living God. And as always, we move when he moves. And now, today's understanding, the tour of duty. And to see this, we're going to take a journey through those tasks or assignments showing our legal obligations and responsibilities whilst serving time in this combat zone or even this hostile environment. This flesh, right? Because we all are regulated to it, right? And to prove this, let's hop to 2nd Ezra 7, 6 through 9. 2nd Ezra 7, 6 through 9. There is also another thing. A city, a kingdom is builded and set. It's established upon a broad field and is full of all good, all righteous, edifying, and pleasant things. The entrance thereof is narrow, so it's difficult, it's rigorous. This is out of necessity, and is set in a dangerous, a hazardous, a desolate place to fall away, to be overcome, conquered. Like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the desire and the knowledge, so small that there could but one man, one male or female, go there at once. Providing this city were now given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set appointed before it, how shall he receive this inheritance, right? Simple. We can't. Now, notice, like any other threatening situation, the further in you get, the deeper we go, the less room there is for error. Our objective, the surrendering of self, our sacrificing of the knowledge of the things the world provided, the sciences, right? The vain babbling, the celebrations of a prideful existence. The world provided these. We picked them up, no doubt, but it provided them. These philosophies are pillared. So not only are they part of the physical construct, the construct itself is strengthened by them. Those surrounding communities, the bodies we live amongst, right? See, they thrive in theory, a system of ideas used to explain something, especially ideas based on general principles that are independent of the thing being explained. Make that make sense, right? Now, let's not get it twisted. All communities have their own pillars. This one or that one was a pillar of their community. And all communities have HOAs. Those are your association fees. And you are going to pay to play. And yes, without the Spirit of God, Jehovah, we would most definitely be associated with one of them. Now, Our separation from the knowledge and understanding of the temporal construct is not only not to be taken lightly, the reason is only one way to do it. And this is by way of salvation of Jehovah, the image. Now, let's build, knowing firstly, we were created upright. And that's where we start this process, right? Ecclesiastes 7:29. Ecclesiastes 7:29. Lo, remember, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright. However, they have sought out many inventions, right? So we devising plots and schemes, right? And upright, just, devout, righteous, faithful. I know that's a lot of shoes. There is more, but we gonna take these. So what does a just male or female do? They live lawfully. Simply put, making them according to it or by it. Either way, they live and breathe it purposely. This is not accident, right? Let's pull though. Leviticus 19:36. Leviticus 19:36. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Spirit of God, your guide, which brought you up, which brought you out of the land, the body of Egypt, of bondage, right? So bondage, the bondage of the physical and of your mind. You can't pay one a day to stop doing what they like because they were brought up in it, right? Now, just balances and weights, the doctrine of Yahweh given through the teachings of Jehovah, his spirit. These are going to revamp, renovate, renew your reasoning, granting the ability to weigh out all matters lawfully, to distinguish and be capable of pointing out the difference between the profane and the separated things. This is true guidance, right? So where do we find just, which is valued, judgment, doctrine, and teachings? Or how do we attain them, right? Let's pull Matthew 11:29. Matthew 11:29, A and B. Take my yoke, my chain and fetters upon you, and learn, study, understand of me. Now we caught that command, right? Because he ain't asking nothing. And we know how to do that, right? This is uniform to most of us by now, right? Let's pull Isaiah 34:16. Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of the Spirit of God and read. So understand, learn. No one of these shall fail. But what are these? The law and the prophets. Not one word of the prophets he sent shall fail. And the law itself is of the Most High, right? So none shall want her mate, her better half, her husband. For my mouth, my message, my speech, the discourse, the counsel, the teachings, it, the word given to the prophets, the law, has commanded. And his spirit, it hath gathered them. Gathered who? Think of the congregation, right? Not only did it gather the books within the one book, it gathered us, this separated body. So we see where to go. We got that. But what are we going to get? Exodus 16:16. Exodus 16:16. This is the thing which the Spirit of God hath commanded. Gather of it every man, every male and female, according to his learning, and omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents, his skins, right? And omer, the tenth, the best of an ephah, pure meal, sustenance, provision, measured. But what's the measure? The things concerning the truth. So you're measuring that sustenance, precept upon precept, the dry and the wet. The dry, the wisdom, the counsel, the wet, knowledge and understanding. And we measure it all out, line upon line, right? Psalms 119:4 and 104. Psalms 119:4 and 104. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Through thy precepts I get understanding. For this reason I hate every false way. Not some, but all of them, right? These make the daily bread, our required measure of heavenly knowledge, the doctrine of God, and the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of it, enough for one lamb, one reconciliation, each one, male and female, according to your learning. But why and what are we reconciling from? Let's hear from the word of truth, right? Deuteronomy 31, 24 through 30. Deuteronomy 31, 24 through 30. And it came to pass when the word of truth had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book until they were finished, that word of truth commanded the Levites, the priests, which carried the ark, the body of the covenant of the Spirit of God, saying, take this record of the law and put it in the side, the likeness of the body of the covenant of the Spirit of your God, that it may be there for a witness against thee. Why against us, right? Because he showed us what the ark is. And what did we do? We let Moses tell it, right? Verse 27. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Remember, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against the Spirit of God. And how much more after my death? Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes, including your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against them. For I know that after my death you will utterly corrupt, destroy yourselves, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And evil will befall you in the latter days, because you will do evil in the sight of the Spirit of God, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. And Moses spake in the ears of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song, until they were ended. Did we fulfill this, though? Of course we did. He can't lie, right? Let's keep going. Zephaniah 3, 1 and 2. Zephaniah 3, 1 and 2. Woe, strong warning to her that is filthy. So she's menstruous and scarlet and polluted, to the oppressing city, the people, right? She obeyed not the voice, the thunder, the declaration of the elder. She received not correction. She trusted not in the Spirit of God. Full thought. She drew not near, not nigh to her God. And why is that important? Again, let's catch Moses. Leviticus 10 and 3. Leviticus 10 and 3, A through E. Then Moses said unto Aaron, this is it that the Spirit of God spake, saying, I will be sanctified, set apart in them that come nigh me. And in the presence of all the people, I will be glorified, honored, exalted. So we see, if we're not drawing nigh close, we're basically outside the will. And yes, the further away we get, the worse off we are. Case in point. Exodus 32 and 1. Exodus 32 and 1. And when the people saw the word of truth delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto the flesh, and said unto him, up, make us idols, which shall go before us. For as for this word of truth, the Son of Man that brought us up out of the body of bondage and confusion, we wot not what is become of him, right? So we don't know what he doing. So how many monkeys was jumping in her bed, right? Because every one of them bumped their head. All this because the Spirit of God ain't on our time, because he don't move when we want him to move, right? The tally was big back then. It's crazy now. But let's see what we forgot that fast, right? Let's keep going. James 4, 8 through 10. James 4, 8 through 10. Draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted, so be straitened, distressed, and mourn, remember, and weep. Let your laughter, the mocking, be turned to heartache and humiliation, and your joy to sorrow. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Creator, and he shall lift, he shall raise you up. Right. And that's why we're here, to be raised up. But we can't say they ain't know. Were they not at the door, the house of Jehovah? Right? But what did he see through his encasement? Let's see. Exodus 32 and 19. Exodus 32 and 19. And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf, the idol, and the dancing, our playfulness, and the word of truth, anger, waxed violent. And he cast the tables out of his hands, his power, his guidance, his protection, and authority, and brake them beneath the mount. Not one, 20 and over, made it out of the desert alive. They were not raised up, right? So, cast out is put away, banished. Table, offering tables, altars. And why was this necessary? Let's pull Romans 8, 7 and 8. Romans 8, 7 and 8. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God. For it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed in works can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. So are we actually pushing past the limits today? Of course, right? Let's get some of that. Let's push. Zephaniah 3, 3 and 4. Zephaniah 3, 3 and 4. Her princes within her are roaring lions. Her judges, her teachers, are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones till the morrow. Her prophets are light, so they're understanding and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law. Right. So they know what they're doing. And as always, action, reaction. Jeremiah 5 and 7. Jeremiah 5 and 7. How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me, and sworn by them that are no gods, lowercase, when I have fed them to the full. They then committed adultery, and assembled themselves by troops in the harlots' houses, right? 2nd Ezra 1, 25 through 27. 2nd Ezra 1, 25 through 27. Seeing ye have forsaken me, I will forsake you also. When you desire me to be gracious unto you, I shall have no mercy upon you. Whensoever ye shall call upon me, I will not hear you. For ye have defiled your hands with blood, with lifestyle, and your desires are swift to commit manslaughter. Ye have not, as it were, forsaken me, but your own selves, said the Creator. Right. And that harlot is singular. She has many houses. And we need to boycott every single one of them, right? And that was done by our knowledge, our tongue, our unity, our forbidden practices, right? This is testimony to our falling short of the glory of the Most High. But why relive it? Simple. To remember, to recognize our wrong. You got to know where you're from to get where you're going. You can't keep repeating the same thing over and over, right? We got to unearth what that slothful servant taught everybody to bury in the dirt. We know he buried his instructions, right? He ain't want nothing to do with them, meaning he was okay being alienated from the Most High, meaning he called death unto himself. So alienated, which is banished, exiled, separated, even driven away. A banishment or exile for us, we see firstly temporal, due to physical attachments, but this casting away takes place due to a mutation, the changing of structure, resulting in a variant form that may be transmitted to subsequent generations. Meaning, what? You gonna pass it down. This is caused by an alteration, better yet, a deviation from the given instructions, a change from the natural way. We know the way was righteous. We know that. He created us upright. This we can peek at though, right? Let's try it in real time. So, we got the grasshopper, a naturally solitary creature, known for leaping. That's how he get around, hopping to and fro. His ears, his instruments for receiving sound, those audible vibrations, are located on his belly and not his head. And what is his belly? The belly shows the appetites, the innermost hungers, desires, the cravings, and lusts. These will govern his culture, his customs, established practices, traditions, and behaviors, showing his obedience and guidance are in accordance to it. So, he's led by his desires and appetites, which is no different than us, right? Wrong. That's tragic. We have two different makeups. Our ears are attached to a think tank. So, our desires are supposed to be weighed out lawfully. We should know if the juice is worth the squeeze. We just aligning ourselves with desires though, like that grasshopper. But unlike it, we were prepared in this area, right? But let's pull. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 17 and 5. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 17 and 5. They received the use of the five operations of the Creator, and in the sixth place he imparted them understanding, and in the seventh an interpreter of the cogitations thereof. So, again, we know better. But the hopper, like us, he's deemed clean. He's even a good source of protein, providing we choose to make him a meal, so to speak, right? To learn from him. His diet, however, is plant-based, a herbivore. He's sheepish. Unlike us, he eats up to 50% of his body weight daily. But like us, his belly contains an enzyme that breaks down anything he eats. But he's not a picky eater. We can't say that about us, can we? We want what we want. I gotta have my poke. I needs my scrimp, right? I'm sure you done heard a variation of that some type of way, because I have. But we do have this in common. Our focus, our center of interest or activity, this is seen through our functioning, right? And that function to work or operate in a proper or required, suitable or appropriate way, or particular, a peculiar or certain manner. Sound like right to me. So how do we get here then, right? The alteration. We chose to deviate and fell victim to ourselves. Both of us alike. Let's look at us though. Doing what we deem suitable, right? First Maccabees 6 and 24. First Maccabees 6 and 24. For which cause they of our nation besiege the tower. So we pollute the image and are alienated. So separated from us. Moreover, as many of us as they could light on, that they inspired, they slew, they murdered, premeditated, through deceptive doctrines and understandings, and spoiled, blemished our inheritance, right? So these actions caused an offense. So we then went from upright to outright garbage, right? But what about the hopper? Let's check him out. Now, when that grasshopper deviates from his natural way by way of some new perception or forced insight, the mind state shifts and brings forth the locust, a devouring desire, the legions of death. This is nothing short of an unnatural transformation, both mental and physical. This one who afore preferred solitude has now become agitated due to overcrowding from a burst in population, unwarranted body contact, heat, moisture, right? And now swarms and hordes. Yeah. Sound like summertime in the hood, right? Exactly. What once ate only half of his body weight, what it needed, has now become ravenous, insatiable, and consumes the entirety of his weight every day, right? And when sources run low, it will happily turn and feed on the surrounding cast members. Sounding familiar yet? Because we should be painting a clear parallel here. These cast everything around them into desolation, right? It's a feeding frenzy, an aggressive and competitive group attack. However, when supplies get scarce, they too turn inward, cannibalistic. You hear me? Right? What's some examples? I'm saying it's better me than the cops, homie. Man, you see them jewels? I'd love to catch that cat in his crib by itself. Hey, bro, what set you claiming? Look, they gonna smoke this anyway. Might as well be me that get paid, right? Yeah. Both of these are beautiful to look upon, and both hated and feared by all, including themselves. And unlike all other species that lash outwardly at others, these destructive mobs unleash their disadvantageous power on one another, preying on themselves, targeting the poor and the weak, right? So, as always, we know exactly what we doing when we doing it, and we know it's wrong. How do we know? Because they were separated, right? Meaning they were told, corrected, and chose to do exactly what they wanted to do. And now that separation is detected through speech, through the discourse, the counsel and advice, those behavioral teachings, right? The reason we say, do as I say and not as I do. Y'all know all about that, right? But let's see them know. Deuteronomy 32 and 5. Deuteronomy 32 and 5. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation, right? Let's keep pushing. Ephesians 4, 18 and 19. Ephesians 4, 18 and 19. Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart, who, being past feeling, have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. This is the route we took. All to no avail, though. But we're going to pull and prove that, though. Let's keep going. Mark 7, 7 through 9. Mark 7, 7 through 9. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandments of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do. And he said unto them, full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own traditions, right? And that's all we wanted. And remember, after we get what we want, nothing is ever the same, right? How? Isaiah 4 and 1. Isaiah 4 and 1. And in that day, 7 women, 7 spirits shall take hold of one man, one male or female, saying, we will learn our own doctrine and wear our own apparel. We got our own covering. Only let us be called by thy way to take away our reproach. So our shame, our disgrace. This in itself shows our behavior being made in the image, but our output is not according to our makeup. An adulterous whore who wants to continue in her business, however, desires the dignity and integrity ascribed to the way of her husband. Right. So, why are we here today? We are all here to actively become or remain a part of Jehovah's body. This body. Nobody came here to leave. We're here to actively participate and bear witness to his works, right? We are here for follow-up surgery, right? Making sure this transformation sticks, right? You should be like me, because I'm trying to be overtook. Get in every teaching. You hear me? Yeah, let's keep going. Habakkuk 1 and 5. Habakkuk 1:5. Remember ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. For I will work a work in your days which ye will not believe, though it be told you. Right? And that work is being done to you. Right? Let's keep going. Romans 9:28. Romans 9:28. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Creator make upon the earth. Right? And is anything too hard for the Creator? Not at all, right? Let's keep going. John 9:4. John 9:4. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man, no male or female, can work. So he's not working any other works, right? And the key word, must. And what did he do? Luke 13:13. Luke 13:13. And he laid his hands, his power, his guidance, his protection and authority on her, his mate. And immediately she was made straight and glorified God, right? Keyword, her, this body. And she was immediately made straight because she instantly did what? Acts 26:7. Acts 26:7, A through C. Unto which promise our 12 tribes, instantly serving God day and night, hope to come, right? So, welcome to the union. Welcome to the last day of the rest of your life. You hear me? Let's keep pushing though. Colossians 1:21-23. Colossians 1:21-23. And you that were sometime alienated, separated, and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now hath he reconciled, redeemed, made ready, right? In the body, the vessel of his flesh, through death, his separation from the Most High, to present you holy and unblameable and unreprovable in his sight, providing ye continue in the faith, grounded and settled. When it tastes the way it smells, you hear me? And be not moved, stirred, or led away from the hope, the expected outcome of the message, which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature which is under the heaven, whereof I, a little one, am made a servant. So, from alienation, you heard me, alienation, just almost like the TV show, to being revived. And what is revived? Renewed, made alive, resurrected, quickened, regenerated, born again, right? But what are you prepared to do? Are you willing to die? Because for that very reason, you, me, we were brought here to this body. And let me explain something to you. He didn't bring me here to physically kill me. I was brought here to learn, watch this though, how to die. Let's do that math. Death is already appointed to the flesh, and I'm currently wearing it, right? Bow your ear. There's a first and a last time for everything, and sometimes they come at the same time. This is one, right? When I got in the pool, that spiritual death I would have received for my sinful works that I committed here was supposed to happen there. This is mercy and grace, the first resurrection. You hear me? There's that. I came out of that water, which is now under my feet because I'm now standing over it. So I'm out of that water and in promise to now live in the knowledge given by the Most High, Jehovah, unto ever. You hear me? Which prevents the second death from occurring through the process of transformation by the first resurrection, foreshadowed in the pool. You see what I'm saying? The spirit I had was deemed worthy of eternal death, and is now today condemned in this flesh and placed on the altar to receive wrath, providing I don't pick it back up. So the covenant is established, tried and proven through my relinquishing of Eve. You got it. You got it, right? So by reason of this knowledge, the Spirit of the Most High, those ways are consumed, because he is a consuming desire. That fire, you hear me? Some of us already understand that, right? This is why you look forward to new teachings like you used to crave new movies. Those desires were supplanted. This is why we're told. Let's push. Hosea 14:5. Hosea 14:5. I will be as the dew, the rain unto Israel. He shall grow as the lily, the beloved, and cast forth his roots, his works, as Lebanon. Right? So Lebanon, very white, pure, as the very elect, right? Deuteronomy 32:2. Deuteronomy 32:2. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech, the discourse, the doctrine and teaching, shall distill as the dew. So it's going to purify and refine as the dew. As the small rain upon the tender herb, the gentle plant, and as the showers upon the grass, the restored people, right? Let's keep pushing. Jeremiah 3:13. Jeremiah 3:13. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, your sinful activity, that thou hast transgressed against the Spirit of thy God, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, every unrighteous elder. And ye have not obeyed my voice, said the Spirit of God, right? So it's out of that knowledge of death into the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the light of the Most High, which details the activities and the promised rewards thereof, that we do what? Make a decision. Mercy carried us to and through the blessing, right? The pool initiates the work. Let's keep going though. Deuteronomy 11:31-32. Deuteronomy 11:31-32. For ye shall pass over Jordan to go in to possess the land, the body which the Spirit of your God giveth you, and ye shall possess it and dwell therein. And ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments, those doctrine and the teachings which I set before you this day, right? So we got to spin the block on that. The reason, ye shall be pardoned mercifully, by way of the knowledge of truth flowing downward, descending to go in to possess the body which the Spirit of your God giveth you, and ye shall possess it and abide within it. You catch the command? Ye shall, right? Show me where he asking something. He telling you what you gonna do if you want what he's offering, right? So in this Passover got that break in it, right? So it's a pardon, mercy. So you're pardoned in mercy. And Jordan is crossing over, descending, flowing downward, knowledge of truth. And we know what? Who came down? Let's get there and see, right? Wisdom of Solomon 18:15. Wisdom of Solomon 18:15. Thine almighty word leaped down from heaven out of thy royal throne, comparing a fierce man, a male, a female, of war, into the midst of a land, a body of destruction, right? Let's push, right? Ephesians 4:10. Ephesians 4:10. He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. We getting there. Let's push though. Exodus 19:18. Exodus 19:18, A and B. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Spirit of God descended upon it in fire. And with that, we heard the command, ye shall. And we know passing over is required. That makes it law, right? And knowing than that, let's pull again. Romans 12 and 1. Romans 12 and 1. I beseech ye therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, an established covenant, holy, separated, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Right? Let's pull. Why? Let's see why we. Hebrews 10 and 9. Hebrews 10 and 9. Then said he, Lo, I come to do thy will, O God. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second. Right? And who is he? Me, you, we. Right? And we know the first, the flesh, had to go to establish the spirit. Right? Let's keep pushing. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit, right? So he was revived, renewed. Let's keep pushing. Hebrews 9 and 27. Hebrews 9 and 27. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this, the judgment. And we hear. So, bear witness, before, during, and after the pool, you've been receiving what? Doctrine, teachings, judgment. To do what? To keep you in the way. Why? Because we are in his care. And those in his care heed the instructions, right? We accept all things from the Creator, knowing they are all for our benefit, right? Like this one. Let's pull. Philippians 2 and 5. Philippians 2 and 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in the anointed way of salvation, right? And we're going to keep pulling. Let's go. Romans 12 and 2. Romans 12 and 2. And be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Right? Sound like right to me. And I know it sound right to you. Let's see what he doing though. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 24 and 26. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 24 and 26. He maketh the understanding to abound like Euphrates, like the good and abounding people, and as Jordan, the knowledge of truth, in the time of the harvest, in the time of the gathering, right? So he's handing this out. But you gotta what? You gotta love, you gotta need, and you gotta want it, right? You must complete the trifecta. We gonna keep pulling, right? Proverbs 20 and 7. Proverbs 20 and 7. The just man, that just male or female, walketh in his integrity. So he's living there. His children are blessed after him. Why? Because he's going to pass that blessing down. And yes, it takes a village to raise a child, right? Do the math. Let's keep pushing. Micah 5 and 7. Micah 5 and 7. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people as a dew, the reflection of nourishment from the spirit of Yahweh, comparing the showers upon the grass that tarrieth not for man, right? Nor waiteth for the sons of men. Exactly. Because when did the rain ever wait on you? You got to be where it's coming down, right? But everybody don't care for that end, though. Most gonna protest and tell you straight to your face. Let's pull and see what they gonna tell you. Numbers 32 and 19. Numbers 32 and 19. For we will not inherit with them on yonder side Jordan or forward, because our inheritance is fallen to us on this side Jordan eastward. So some want to stay put. They refuse to cross over and draw nigh to their God, right? And we already know This is no good look, right? So let's pull. Hebrews 10 and 38. Hebrews 10 and 38. Now the just shall live by faith. However, if any man, any male or female, draw back, which is not nigh, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. And understand, y'all, this walk will not be easy. Hence the word endure, suffer, persevere, right? The prize appointed to this body is unfathomable. We got to do the math on that. Seriously. And remember, if you do slip, Proverbs 24 and 16. Proverbs 24 and 16. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again. However, the wicked shall fall into mischief, right? So the road to perfection is rough. You will fall. Remember, a lot is being thrown at you. However, in Christ, your slips and falls are cushioned by the pillows of life and its laws. These are used to do what? To raise you up, right? And one last pull. 2 Peter 1 and 10. 2 Peter 1 and 10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, ye shall never fall. Fall where? Into mischief. Brethren, this duty is ours, the few against the many, to show the works, and every single solitary victory is his. This battle is unto completion. But how can we fail, providing we be covered by Jehovah, who clearly states, he created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail, right? So we can't fail if we're doing what we need to do. We can only fail ourselves by backing away, right? So with that, I suspect your gears are turning, and my hopes is that you got something from the work, because I did. And as always, it has been an honor and a privilege to serve you. Shalom, y'all.